Good afternoon, everybody. Today we are going to be doing a SoFi Technology stock overview in which we are going to be talking about the company's growth, if they're overvalued, undervalued, what some people on the street might be getting wrong or maybe they're getting correct. But before we get into this video, I just want to ask you guys, please hit that thumbs up button as well as hit the subscribe button and leave a comment if you guys have anything to comment on this presentation. That being said, let's hop right into it. So what does SoFi do? So for those who might not be familiar with SoFi, SoFi is a neobank, and what a neobank is it's a bank that doesn't have physical branches. It provides the services online, through websites, through an app, through both. So SoFi is an online financial institution. They obtain three sectors of business: financial services, lending, and a tech platform. Now here on the right you can see that I put a graphic that breaks down the three segments of business. So lending is just personal loans, student loans, home loans. And then with financial services, you got the loan platform business, which is different than lending, and I'll be explaining that later. You have SoFi at Work, SoFi Relay, SoFi Protect, SoFi Credit Card, SoFi Invest, and SoFi Money. And then down here is where you can see the third sector, which is the technology platform. So financial services. So the loan platform business is basically, we get customers that come to SoFi saying that they want a loan. Through SoFi's partnerships, they can refer these customers who are looking for loans, and if there's a match, these other lending companies will take the customer's loan, in which SoFi gets paid a referral for doing so. And this is a benefit to SoFi because they are not using any of their own money. They don't have anything on the line. They don't have to use their own book value. They simply are just referring them to another lending company, and they get paid for that referral. So it's pretty much fee-based if you look at it like that, and they're not losing anything. It just increases their flywheel. So that is the very bullish part about loan platform business. It launched last year, and it's been growing rapidly. So it's one of the most exciting sectors for SoFi Technologies right now. SoFi also has SoFi Invest, and by the end of the year they're looking to add level 1 options and crypto. SoFi Invest right now is a little bit of a laggard as far as their offerings, but I'm actually very bullish on SoFi Invest come 2026 because one of the big reasons I do not use SoFi Invest, in which I used to, is because as I got bigger into my investment journey, I learned about level 1 options, learned about how big of a tool level 1 options can be for you, and so I ended up transferring out. But the biggest thing that attracted me to banking with SoFi in the first place was the idea of having the one-stop shop. And the reason I want my one-stop shop with SoFi is because they are a recognized chartered bank. That's like the biggest thing, I guess. If they can offer me the same products as Robinhood, is the biggest thing that separates them. Is I'd rather bank with the company that is a chartered bank and has regulations and stipulations instead of someone like Robinhood, in which their product offerings are all branched from different companies because they have to go that route since they can't get a charter, because ultimately it slows down the innovation. But once I have level 1 options, and even crypto, there's nothing else that I really need. Like, I don't need event contracts, so like it completes the flywheel for me, and then I would be interested in moving my money back into SoFi and just keeping the one-stop shop, being able to manage my finances off of one app instead of having to go to my Capital One app, having to go to whatever company I need to go to when it comes time to pay my student loans. It can all be in one central location. That is one of the biggest moats that SoFi has going for it, and so I am very excited to see how SoFi Invest scales once they offer level 1 options and crypto, because everything else after that I feel like it's an add-on bonus, but I don't know if it tilts the scale for a bunch of users who do want to invest. but they need level 1 options as like a necessity, or that's how they view it. And so that's the biggest thing, I feel like, moving the needle away from SoFi Invest right now for them and getting those people on Robinhood. But next up, we got their credit card. So they launched credit cards a while back and they saw a high default rate. They've been working to scale that back as well as figure out the originations that they want. And so they're looking to launch some new credit card offerings, and they just sent out a survey, and a lot of them are very intriguing. One that seems to be contending a little bit with the Robinhood Gold Card. It was talking about, I want to say it was 4% on dining, or no, it was 4% on shopping, then 3% on dining, and it would be $90 annually. So it's a little bit scaled back compared to the Robinhood offering. Although Robinhood's card, there's some skepticism on if it's going to be able to become profitable or not. So I think SoFi also has that same outlook on not understanding how it's going to become profitable. It's bullish to see that SoFi is entering with a competitive credit card. Now, is it the best credit card out there? No, but I do like to see it, and one of the biggest things is going to see if they learn from their earlier mistakes when they originally launched the credit cards and they saw high default rates, and if they can get the underwriting correct and successfully scale this business, because credit cards have a large addressable market, and it will be interesting to see how they approach it this time around. But their current credit card offerings that they're looking to drop, they seem intriguing. And are they the best offers out there? No, but that they are definitely competitive, and the goal at the end of the day is going to be to make it profitable. So that's just one of the businesses we're going to have to wait and see on. It's definitely not what the bulls are arguing about being the game-changing factor at the moment. The game-changing factor seems to be the loan platform business, and we've seen that with the growth rate being approximately around 100% this last year, annualized, and it's not slowing down. So it's very exciting to see that, especially I think people are sleeping on what SoFi Invest could possibly be going into 2026. So financial services continues to boom for SoFi, and it's going to be very exciting, especially if credit cards do start to scale, in which I do think they will be able to scale credit cards because it is part of just the ecosystem. But we'll have to wait and see, I guess, how big of a part of that business it becomes. So then you have lending. This is going to be a short one. So SoFi started off as a student loan platform, and they just originated student loans, and now they offer home loans, student loans, personal loans. Lending is a big part of the business, although it's become very well diversified between financial services and lending. The laggard has been the tech platform, in which I'm just going to go there right now because there's not much to speak on lending outside of the fact that SoFi has excellent underwriting, and it stays a very profitable business for them. So you have Galileo, and that is their tech platform in which they are trying to become the AWS of fintech. Basically, what it does, it provides back-end solutions to other neobanks, fintechs, and corporations looking to extend into financial service products. So, for example, SoFi provides Robinhood with their debit card. They used to do the same for Chime. So, that is an example of what they can do for financial companies. Now, I want to talk about how they offer financial products to companies that aren't in the financial services industry. So, for example, you guys may be familiar with airlines. They do their credit cards with specific mileage points, and it's a whole partnership. Well, they essentially do the same thing. If there's a credit card offering, let's say through American Airlines, they just provide that credit card for American Airlines, in which SoFi will make some money off of the revenue based off of how many people are getting that credit card and using that credit card. And then it's also a benefit to the company to be able to offer that credit card for point purposes and get people to continue to travel. So the SoFi member growth. Their members are growing 34% annually. They just did 802,000. They're getting closer to doing 1 million in a quarter. They offer products per member. It's about 1.5. Actually, yeah, it's about 1.5. I thought that was a breakdown there on the bottom right, but that's new products that they are launching. Anthony Noto has come out and said that he one day envisions that customer members will use about 3 products per member, and so that definitely has room to grow. And I can see the vision as far as you want to become the one-stop shop. I can easily see members, once the invest platform's there and the credit cards are there, having direct deposit set up, having SoFi Invest, it's connected through the app, and having a credit card with SoFi. So I definitely think that's plausible, but it's still going to be hard because there will still be the few people who only use SoFi for their direct deposit, or they only use SoFi because they have a loan and they got the loan through SoFi. So it will be hard to hit an average of 3, but I can see where the normalcy of a normal loyal SoFi member is holding 3 to 4 products. So SoFi financials, 2024 they did 15 cents of EPS. In 2025 they're estimating for 27 through 28 cents. SoFi is known for sandbagging their numbers, and I would expect 2025 EPS to actually come in at 30 cents. And a large part of that is because their 2026 guidance is 55 to 80 cents, and I think they'll since they sandbag numbers, they'll at least hit 60. So I think going from 15 to 30 to 60 is a very reasonable target as far as like actually seeing that 2026 guidance coming in, how SoFi saying it will come in. If SoFi is sandbagging like they always sandbag, I'm making this make sense for them to hit the lower end of their 2026 guidance. So I think 15 to 30 to 60 is a very reasonable thing to expect, and they're yet to make me expect any different. And so the first step was seeing Q1, and that went just as I expected. They beat by a cent, then they raised up the guidance by a cent, and I expect them to beat by a cent most likely again this Q2, and this will probably move to 28 to 29 cents, and so on and so forth. And by the end of the year, they'll be looking at 30 cents of EPS. In 2024, their revenue was 2.61 billion. 2025, the revenue estimate is 3.29 billion. That very well might come in at 3.4 billion. We'll have to see how these new products scale once they're dropped, such as SoFi Invest and crypto, and if those credit cards come by end of the year or not. The net margin is 6.86% right now, but the long-term goal is 20%. So to continue to see the net margins increase is very bullish, but right now you're at a time where you're highly investing back into the company. They even hinted at possible international expansion here. So there's still a lot of growth out there for SoFi, and it'll be interesting to see them continue to take up some of this market. So now I want to do a SoFi stock chart outlook. So the SoFi stock chart is actually very, very bullish. You can see that's above all the moving average lines. You have major resistance here at 474 that it's had a hard time getting past. But like I said, it's above the moving average lines, but you also have to keep an eye on this RSI, which does kind of give me the idea that there is potential it gets rejected. My guess is it kind of like settles here before a little dip and then breaking through it. The financials are adding up. They continue to beat. They've been beaten down ever since the tariff news came out. And so I have a very bullish outlook, and I want to talk a little bit about what I'm doing. None of this video is financial advice. You guys all have to make a decision off of your own education and your own risk levels and risk tolerance. But personally, what I've been doing for a minute now is just selling cash secured puts, in which I was even doing down here at 12.5 was my price, and now I've just been chasing it up, and I'll roll them down if I end up having to. But I'm also very content with buying SoFi at these levels, so I'm not like rolling out of scarcity. Like if it just if I get to a point where it's like, I don't know, like let's say some tariff news happens and we drop to $10 for some reason, like I'm okay with, buying some at like $12, $12.50. I'm even okay with buying it here. I've just been holding a lot of cash because I'm skeptical about the macro. So that honestly has nothing to do with SoFi and why I'd be rolling down. Um, but it's been a nice way to collect some premiums, and I like to grow this position, so I'm completely cool with buying it at 14.24 or in 13 and 12. How far I roll, it's honestly going to depend on the day and how I'm feeling and what I think the current macro is looking like at that time. Because the only thing stopping this thing going up is Donald Trump tweets at the moment. So that said, I'm very bullish on the chart. As a trader, I wouldn't go like long right now, like if you were trading, because the RSI is getting up there. But long-term holders, which is what I do, like, this is a very strong company and the chart looks good. I can see this long-term trend line continuing upward, so I love this chart. That said, before I wrap up this video, please leave a comment if you guys have any comments to make. Drop a like and hit the subscribe button. Trying to build a community here. I want to start doing morning live streams. I also want to be streaming earnings reports here in the future. So you guys dropping that subscribe and becoming part of the family, it means a lot to me, and I hope that we can continue to build a big family here. And I also want to say that my Twitter and X, it's at investing_intel. My actual name will be Fundamental Investing on it. I just couldn't use that handle, so I had to make a different handle that didn't correlate. But that is my Twitter. If you guys want to go drop a follow, I report all my live reactions to news in the market on there. So if you guys want live updates, go ahead and follow me on my Twitter. That being said, I hope you guys all have a great afternoon, and I'll see you guys in the next video.